Okay, so you should know how to do these three types of constructions. You should know how to bisect an angle, you should know how to find a perpendicular, and you should know how to find a midpoint. Okay, so what we're going to go over are the steps that you need to take every time you do one of these. So we'll start with the angle bisector. Okay, the first thing you need to do on an angle bisector is draw congruent arcs from your vertex. Okay, so on your paper, write draw arcs from vertex. Okay. So let's see, where's my... Okay, so you put this at the vertex. We bring your pencil in. So you make... Okay, we make an arc right here. You need to know how to do it. Whether you have to do it or not, you should know how to do it. So you make two arcs from the vertex. Okay, you put the compass at the vertex and you make some arcs. Okay, that's the first step. So every time we do a construction, you're trying to find out where arcs are intersecting. So the next thing we do is from those points of intersection, let's change. So from your points of intersection, right here is a point of intersection, and right here, you make two more arcs. Okay, making sure that they are congruent. So the radius is the same, and that's what makes these things correct constructions. Is now we move our protractor to here, and it doesn't really matter how big you have your arc, but you want to make it out here in the middle somewhere. Okay, without changing the arc size, you make two of these marks. Okay, one from each vertex, so one from each point of intersection. This point and that point. Okay, so we have an X arc, right? These arcs intersect out here somewhere from these arcs right there. So we have drawing arcs from your vertex. From each of your intersections, we draw more arcs. And now we simply need to draw a line from the vertex through that intersection. Okay, so we take a line. Where'd my line go? There's my line. From the vertex through that intersecting point. Okay, because all of these arcs are congruent, that guarantees us that that line is right through the middle. Okay, so that's how we construct an angle bisector. Okay, so let's move over and talk about our perpendicular line. So here's a line, and there's our point. We're going to make the perpendicular, exactly 90 degrees to that line. Okay, so the first thing we do is we draw an arc from your points. Draw arc from points that crosses that line twice. Okay, so you take your compass, you put the needle at that point, and then we draw arcs that cross your line twice. So I'm going to have to make mine much smaller so that it actually crosses this line. Okay, like this. Okay, so that's the first step, is we are making a smiley face from this one-eyed Mike Wazowski right there. Okay, the next thing we do is, once again, we find these points of intersection. So we make these arcs so we can find these 2 points. So from your intersections, we draw arcs that intersect above and below. Okay, that has to cross above the line and it has to cross below the line. So we're putting an X on top and we're putting an X on bottom. So we move our needle to this point, make it a little bit smaller, make it this big right here. Okay, so we're going to make an arc up above. It doesn't have to go through that point, so I'm going to make sure to make it so it doesn't go through that point. Okay, you make an arc above and you make an arc below. Okay. So there's your arc below, and here's your arc above. Okay, and then we move over to this side, and you put your needle over there, and we make our arc above, and we make your arc below. Okay, once again, we're trying to figure out where these things intersect. That's the most important part of our construction, is finding the intersection of these arcs. Okay, and then the last step is to draw a line from your point through both of those dots. And you have made a line that is guaranteed to be perpendicular to that other line. Okay, this line is guaranteed to be perpendicular. So we're making intersecting arcs. This arc crosses twice, and then from each of those points, we make arcs that need to cross also. Okay, and the last one is our midpoints. From our midpoint, you make arcs from both of your endpoints. That's basically all we're doing, is making congruent arcs. Make arcs from each endpoint. Okay, they need to cross above and below, just like your perpendicular did. Okay, from each endpoint. So here I have this one. So you have to make sure that your compass is a little more than halfway. No, it's like more than halfway, even more. Okay. So it crosses, we need to make sure it crosses above and below. Right through my words, above and below. Okay, and then we move over to this side. Where'd it go? Let's see here. Ah, there we go. Do it upside down. Move over to this side. Oops, don't move that. So it has to cross above, and it has to cross below. Okay, so you can notice that it didn't cross on the above one, so I can always come back here and actually make it so that it crosses. There we go. Okay, so just like with the perpendicular, you make x's above and x's below, and now we simply have to connect these two arcs with a line right there where they intersect. Okay, so this happens to turn out to be the midpoint. That one. No? Okay. So this point right here is the point that cuts this segment exactly in half. Okay, so be able to replicate the steps. If I give you the first two steps, what are the next steps? If I give you the arc steps, what do you do next in order to finish this construction?